Hello everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao and this is LA Currents. I'm here at the John Lewis Conference Center of the LA Civil Rights Department with Commissioner Kandee Lewis. Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
You have such an impressive resume. Aside from being a commissioner, you are the CEO of the Positive Results Center and a founder of the Black Women Leaders of Los Angeles, but you started in corporate America. So how's that journey?
You know what? I have just been blessed all my life to do things that I love. And when I left high school, I realized that my big voice puts me in rooms and places, and I love talking to people. And I actually saw an ad that said, wanted, person who likes to talk and make money. They had to be talking about me. And I started in corporate America in outside sales, straight commission for 11 years, and I just loved it. And that's how I wound up in corporate America.
I love that. So you had a very loud voice, and that's how you got started in corporate America. So what made the shift to then social activism and helping, I believe like you really help heal our community?
I started with the company, and I was a sales manager. They didn't want to hire me for the sales director position because they didn't think I had enough experience. And I actually have to admit it was a very sexist, racist, and bigoted company. So I went in, and day one, I showed them that not only am I better than they thought, I had to force them to hire me in the sales director position. So day two, I was sales director.
Wow.
And from 2005 to mid-2007, I took this company from a 7% profit margin to 43% profit margin. But they also took me on my own journey, and they stressed me, depressed me, and just made me leave corporate America, never wanting to see it again. It was a very toxic environment, and I quit my job on June 7, 2007, and I actually left there and went to my medical facility to find out what my problem was. And I found out that I was chronically stressed and clinically depressed. And I went home, I went to bed, and I never looked back.
Wow. So it was like a health issue that prompted that career change.
Actually, I thought it was a health issue. It was actually the spirit moving me from where I was to where I needed to be.
Amen to that.
Yes.
So what's the that like Renaissance era of discovering what you spiritually wanted?
So that was actually a long, very painful journey. As I said, I was chronically stressed, clinically depressed. I couldn't move. I no longer looked like me. I didn't recognize myself, and I was crying. I slept for maybe 30 days for 20 hours a day. And after that 30 days, I couldn't sleep anymore.
Oh, wow.
And eventually I had to really do some soul searching, and I remembered that one of the things that I forgot was my spiritual side. And I had to get reconnected with my spiritual side. And then my brother and my family, they surrounded me with so much love that I had to get up and do something. And my brother is who actually got me started in this field.
Oh, how so?
He had the company, Positive Results. It was originally Positive Results Corporation, but he had let it sit for a while, and he asked me if I wanted to take it over. So after about a year, I had thought about it and decided, let me try this. I'd made a lot of people and a lot of businesses a lot of money, and I thought if I could do that for them, why can't I do it for myself? And it was originally just to get myself out of the house, but then I realized this is really my passion. I thought sales was my passion, and it was. But the work that I do now, I absolutely love it.
I mean, I can see it. Like, I look at you smiling, and there's something so contagious about your energy. You know, I can really tell that you're doing your soul's purpose.
Yes.
So what was that first working in Positive Results experience like?
The first part was understanding what is a nonprofit and what was my personal mission going to be. The company's mission was originally reading literacy and mentoring. And don't think badly of me, but I didn't want to do that.
I'm not going to think badly of you. What?
Okay. Some people are like, what? But I realized that the things I was doing in corporate America, which is training people to be leaders, is what not only I wanted to do, but that's what the community told me they wanted. So in 2010, I finally got it together, knew what I wanted to do, and I started our first Youth Leadership Academy. And day one, everything changed.
How so?
That was when the kids told me what the problem was. And so I had originally done some focus groups with parents, never did with the kids. And what I realized that day is that you must engage the people that you're going to work with. And so the people I was working with were the youth. And one young lady asked me if I had fought with my daughters. And I said, what do you mean, fight?
Right.
And she asked me if I ever hit my kids and if my kids hit me. I was like, girl, please, no way, no how. And I asked her if she had hit her mother, and she told me she did. She actually said, and I can't say the words, but she said, I hit that bee so hard, she was knocked out for 2 days. I was dumbfounded. But I learned that when people speak, you have to listen to what the message is. So I first realized that kids are doing a lot of cussing because they've been cussed at, and that's their vernacular.
Right.
But I also realized that there was this interpersonal violence going on, and there were 27 kids in the class that day, and it was January. They all told me that they had had a fight that year. January.
All of them?
All of them.
Wow.
And half of them were fighting their family members. And so I did some more research and identified that there's not a single agency in all of LA that's solely focused on addressing the interpersonal violence, sexual assault, and bullying of youth of color in the city. And so that's where we focused our work. And so our mission today is to address trauma around intimate partner violence, sexual assault, and bullying, and helping people by creating healthy relationships.
I love that because it's so important when you think about, having long-lasting, healthy bonds to start with a strong foundation, and that is, teaching young people the values, to really sustain that loving relationship moving forward. I'm curious to ask you, nowadays it's so, easy to find love, like dating apps, social media. How do you address that with young people, the whole finding love nowadays?
Well, first off, we tell them you can't find love on social media because you don't know what you're getting on social media.
Right.
People can show up and say that they're a 16-year-old kid and that they go to this school, and they could be a 42-year-old adult. So they're perpetrating who they are.
Right.
They're usually making up things. There's pedophiles and abusers, so you don't know what you're going to get. I tell people that first off, if you want to find love, you need to start with yourself.
That is so important. I love that.
Do you know who you are? And especially in communities of color and in disenfranchised areas, we have cussed our kids out. We have told them that they're stupid and they're dumb, they're ugly. And when I say we, everyone has done this. And so if you're walking around feeling less than, your self-esteem is low, then the person that you're going to fall for is usually not a person who really loves and appreciates you. It's someone who's going to use and abuse you. And so start to think about who you are and how do you want to receive love. And then start looking critically, listening to the things that people are saying, because people are going to give you a message on who they are. They'll say things like, no one has ever loved me. That means that they're unlovable. If your mother didn't love you, your parents didn't love you, if somebody didn't love you, that means you're not receiving love. You're not open to love. And so you can't give love either. And we also tell them, especially on social media, don't put all your information on. Be very careful and take your time. Don't just go and meet someone. And especially as a young person, don't go meet someone without somebody knowing not only where you are, but going with you.
That's so true. I'm curious as well what other aspects entail this youth leadership education.
So our Youth Leadership Academy is amazing. And we
see.
start off with,
Very
yes,
proud. Yeah.
yes. We start off with self-assessment and discovery. Who are you, as opposed to who everyone else said you are? And from there we go into, I have to count them off, there's respect and team building. There is health, hygiene, and etiquette, public speaking, critical thinking, financial empowerment, respect and tolerance and diversity. And those things are all important because they all take, it's all important because you have to build on who you are and your character. And if you do not have respect and you don't know how to give respect, then that's a problem, because we know that there are people who have been killed because of the lack of respect that they've given. And yet and still there are people who become president because of the respect that they give. And also how you carry yourself. Being a leader is not necessarily how much money you have, but how do you carry yourself? How are you showing up and how do you present?
I love that. Yeah, it's like an inward journey that then manifests externally.
Exactly.
I would love to hear, a story that you have from someone who went through the program and then became, a leader. Like, I love the success stories.
So we've had so many people who have come through our program and have become a leader. But just recently, just this year, I received a phone call out of the clear blue from a young man who participated in our program in 2011. And he called and he sent a picture. He said, you know what, I passed by, we were doing our Youth Leadership Academy in the Sheriff's Center in Linwood. And he said he lives by there and he walks by there every day and he always thinks about that program and the success that he has. He's now a manager with LA Care, and he said it was the work that we did to help build his self-esteem, to give him the tools that makes him successful today.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I know there's also other stories that we've talked about even before the show that really impacted you. And I want to hear from you how sometimes it's the really small things that we do in our daily lives that have the biggest impact. Like there's this one story about meeting a young girl at an event that had a huge impact on her life.
Wow, now that, I still get chills about that. So 2012, we had a conference and it was called Stop the Pain, a teen summit on dating violence and bully prevention. And it was right after the opening session, we invited everyone to go to the 40 different workshops that we had. And there was a big crowd standing around. And there was this one girl that was just standing there. My spirit was screaming. It said, Kandee, talk to her. And I walked over to her and I said, hi, my name is Kandee. Are you having a good time? And she looked at me and rolled her eyes and just looked at me with disgust. And I was like, okay, so let's start over. Maybe you didn't hear me. So I'm Kandee and this is my event. What's going on? And she said hi with an attitude. I said, okay. I said, are you having a good time? And she said, no. I said, you don't want to be here? She said, no. I said, well, why are you here then? You look good. Your hair is done. You're standing here with all this attitude, but you don't want to be here? She says, no, I don't. I said, well, this is what I'm going to ask you to do. Since you've already taken the step to be here, just go ahead and look in that book of those 40 workshops, find something. Look around at all these beautiful people. Find someone, talk to them. Go over there and eat something, but stop wasting your time, because you're wasting your time. You're here and you're wasting your time. I said, now give me a hug.
I love this.
We love hugs and we do hug therapy. So she said, okay, she gave me a hug. And she went on about her business and I went on mine. And that was in November of, as I said, 2012. And I didn't think any more about it until January. I received a call from an organization that she was there with. And I said, oh, how you doing? And they talked about the conference and how great it was. They said, but there was a story that you didn't know about. And I said, okay, well, tell me about it. And the young lady that I talked to, I call her Miss Attitude.
Miss Attitude, yeah.
Right. And so Miss Attitude told them about that day. And she said, the most important thing about that day was that I had actually woke up that morning with the intention of killing myself. She was going to commit suicide. She decided not to do it that morning because she had to go to the event. She knew that somebody was going to see her, find her, and prevent her from doing it or intervene. And she decided she was going to do it after that day or after she got home. Mm-hmm. But she said it was the 3 minutes that I took to talk to her, the 3 minutes that I engaged her, the 3 minutes that I gave her a hug that changed her life. And she realized that there was something to live for. After she left me, she went and saw some people that she had known. She had such a great time. She went to a couple of rooms and engaged in the conversation, and she went home feeling good. And she asked herself, why was she going to kill herself? And so that right there, that 3 minutes, made me realize that the work that I do is critical to saving someone's life.
Literally 3 minutes saved a life.
3 minutes.
That's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
What other areas do you focus on to build people's self-esteem or to create a healthier society in general? Kandee?
So Positive Results Center has 4 platforms. Mm-hmm. Our youth development, where we work with youth starting in middle school on to about 30. And we can actually do programs for people as young as 4. But with our youth, we have our Youth Leadership Academy, and we also have our newest program since 2019. We've been training transitional age youth to be mental health ambassadors. Our community has been experiencing so many problems with our mental health that, especially since COVID, we've really realized that people's mental health is hanging by a thread. And so we train youth to be peer advocates and mental health ambassadors, training them on the 5 common causes. That's depression, anxiety, suicidology, substance use and abuse. And everybody thinks about PTSD. There's no such thing as PTSD. It's CTSD, continued traumatic stress disorder. When did we get past anything? We don't. And so once we train them, we then train them how to go out in the community and train other people. That peer-to-peer development is key and critical. We also have our platform, Professional Development, where we will go out to businesses, corporations, as well as hospitals, police, probation, and help them to understand what trauma looks like when a person of color walks in the room. Most people think that, oh, my trauma is more deeper or bigger than your trauma, or they'll look at you and they'll think, oh, you don't have any trauma. Most people do. And my trauma, no matter what it looks like, is important to me. It's big to me. So don't minimize that trauma. We also have community outreach. Oh, one of the things that we do, I love this. We're going to host our annual prom dress gift-away. And this gift-away is so beautiful because we provide 300, 400, 500, 600 girls, however many show up, everything they need for the prom for free. That is gowns from 0 to 28.
Is it 500 to 600?
500, 600. We have 1,500 gowns. Everyone needs to be there. We have tuxedos for our masculines and our girls. Shoes, purses, jewelry, makeup, hair, hygiene items. We feed them, and we also have a resource fair so that the parents who come with them can get the resources and the tools that they need for whatever they need. And that is one of our special events. And what makes it special are the people who donate all of the items, and we go through them and make sure that they're all beautiful and in excellent condition. But it's the volunteers. The day of, we have about 90 volunteers that act as personal shoppers. We set the room up to look like a shopping center, and the volunteers get to mentor the girls and talk to the girls and build their self-esteem and help them to realize not only are they beautiful, but you can accomplish anything. And also you can be safe when you're going to the prom.
I love that.
Yeah.
Such beautiful gifts.
Yes.
It really, really builds up their self-confidence. Speaking of like prom and magical moments, let's imagine that we find a lamp and there's a genie that tells you, Kandee, I can make 3 wishes of yours come true. What would you wish for?
The first wish is that we had, actually I'm going to say they're all 3. So the first wish is that we had a building and a piece of land to build the Positive Results Center for Healthy Families and Relationships. There's not one in the state of California. We need a 20,000 square foot building where we could build out everything that we need for a family or individual to be healthy. That includes a state-of-the-art kitchen where we can teach pregnant and parenting youth how to cook, but also provide food for everyone there. To have a dance studio and also an art studio. And there will be sewing, teaching people how to sew. A state-of-the-art library, a studio so we could teach people how to do this and uplift their voice and advocate for themselves, but also when they leave us, that they're able to go somewhere and get a living wage job. That we will have not only talk therapy, but mental health therapy. We'll have spaces for our community partners because we can't do everything on our own. We want to support other people. And most importantly, we also want to build up other people. So we'll have a space where we can incubate 4 businesses every year, give them the tools that they need so they can be successful and move on. But the part that I'm looking forward to the most is to have a beautiful backyard with a garden, waterfalls, everything that a person can feel comfortable and safe to just sit in the backyard and let the sun shine on their head, or maybe the rain fall, because there's not a lot of safe spaces that people, especially certain people, can go just sit in the backyard. And we want that for our community. We want to train our community that our families look different today than they did in the 40s, 50s, 60s, even the 70s. We want to teach people that no matter who you are, you deserve love and respect. It matters not your ethnicity, your identity, your size, your color. We all deserve respect. We all deserve love. We should have a family and we should be safe.
Wow. Amen to that, Kandee.
Thank you.
So what makes you wake up every morning wanting to spread that energy, share that smile despite all the loss and pain that you encounter on a daily basis?
So first off, I have to say I've been blessed. I'm blessed to do this work. I'm blessed to be alive, and I'm blessed to have a beautiful family, an amazing team. I have the best team ever. But it's the people that I work with that makes me want to do this work. And I want to share something with you. You never know how you impact people. So on my phone, I keep this. It's a screenshot. In 2018, at 9:08 p.m., I received a call, and it was a young man who said, well, who was this? I said, well, you called me. Who are you? And we talked for a little while trying to decide who he was and how did we meet. And he said, you know, we talked. And I said, well, you're a kid, so I must have met you at a school or event. And he said, well, let me send you how I saved you in my phone. And I don't know if you could see this, but it says, if you ever feel depressed. That's how he saved my number.
Wow.
In his phone. That makes me feel so blessed to be able to be a support to someone that you don't know how you're going to touch or how you're going to impact someone. And it was a year before I met this person that he actually called me, a year later that he called me. And once I looked at this, then I knew that I had to go into work mode to make sure that he was safe, to make sure that he was okay, to make sure that he wasn't about to commit suicide, that he knew that there was someone who cared about him. And we still talk today. You know, every now and then, every maybe 4 or 5 months, he'll call me or I'll call him, and we just talk to each other, and I know he's good. So that's what makes me get up every morning, that I might make an impact or a difference in someone to let them know that they're good.
That is absolutely priceless. Yeah, incredible. So if people who are watching and naturally feel inspired to engage in social activism, what are some of the ways that they can get involved with any of your organizations?
We love volunteers. We absolutely love volunteers. We can't do the work without volunteers. So we need photographers and videographers for all of our events. We love to document everything. We need grant writers because I write all the grants for the company. And in order to get that $20 million so that we can have our 20,000 square foot space, I need someone that either can donate a land, donate a building, or help us to write grants so that we can get them.
Right.
People to come out for our events. Maybe you want to conduct a workshop on self-esteem or financial empowerment, or maybe teaching people how to dress, just to show up and be a smiling face. That's a way. We also need donors, people who want to send us $2 a month or $20,000 a month. We need those things so we can continue to be a blessing to the community. We also are looking for board members, people that can help us to reach the right people. It's important to be in rooms that we may not know that we need to be in that room, but someone else might have access to that room and can help us to get there. Our whole thing is that we want people that really want to help the community to thrive. We don't want to change people. We want to improve the living conditions because it's not the people themselves that's the problem. A lot of times we live in disenfranchised communities where the resources may not be what they should be. And so we need people that can help us to build our community, to inspire people, and to help people to reach a level playing field with other people.
I mean, you've definitely inspired me, and I feel so blessed to be here with you, Kandee. Thank you so much for joining us here at LA Currents.
It's my absolute pleasure to be here. So can we tell people how to reach us?
Absolutely, please do.
Okay, so you can reach us by contacting us at prc123.org, which is our website. You can send us an email at info@prc123.org, or you can email me, and that is KANDEELE@prc123.org.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kandee Lewis, for being here. This is Natalia Bilbao for LA Currents.